Right, so this video is gonna be unscripted, so if I sound dumb, that's probably why. Welcome back to the channel, guys. I just wanted to give my quick thoughts on a situation I've seen on Twitter, and since I have the day off today, I'm just gonna talk about it, to pass the time. So recently, Forsaken's been in a controversy that's honestly been one of the heaviest I think we've seen since like March 18th, with plenty of people just deciding that's when they're gonna quit the game. Others are just completely losing faith in it while still playing in it. So what happened? Well, it turns out that I think Haitoko and the team, to get ownership of Forsaken, they had to agree that SoulDrivenLove, which is the old owner of Forsaken, who's been exposed for some like really bad stuff, I think we've seen like 1,000 videos on it, would get 25% of the revenue. Otherwise, Soul would sell it off to like do big studios or like a really big platform that would get them like even more money. So basically, Haitoko had to make a choice whether to keep the game but Soul makes 25%, or let go of the game and Soul still profits a lot anyways. And obviously, this is a very like unfair situation they've been put in. So Haitoko decided to pick 25%. Now, the main problem with this is not essentially their decision, as they didn't really have a choice, I guess, because they did say they didn't want to lose their jobs. But it's the fact that Haitoko apparently lied on Twitter about Soul having like no involvement, and the person Soul sold it off to originally didn't have it. So that's what's made a lot of people angry. That's what's made me personally upset and lose my faith in the game. And it's honestly making me wonder if it's even worth continuing to make Forsaken content anymore, because all this time I've played this game, I've supported it, I've glazed it, I've hated on it, I've criticized it, I've complimented it, and it's just disappointment after disappointment, drama after drama. You guys have literally seen my last video. We can't really catch a break in this community, and I don't think it's 100% the community's fault. That's my hot take. I'm starting to think it's generally like the development direction. I don't know if it's specifically because of the owners, specifically because of the people who work on the game. The general like direction the game's going in and the general strategy the game is going with is just not good. What also confuses me is that like Basil out of all the owners gets the most hate for no reason. Like, respectfully, I'm not trying to insult Haitoko here, but Haitoko's always been the more public figure, I guess, of Forsaken. Like, they're the one like giving stuff out, they're the one talking with the community. Sure, I don't agree with all Haitoko does. Sure, I can dislike a lot of Haitoko's decisions, but at the end of the day, Haitoko is a human and I do respect them. But genuinely, I'm starting to think some people just hating on Basil are just misogynistic, because Basil hasn't really done anything publicly apart from post seals. And last time I checked, posting seals isn't really a crime. Like, you guys have seen my dumb community posts. Like, why wouldn't I get hanged for that? I know I'm not a developer of a big game, but it just feels like people aren't treating the owners as human. And sure, you can disagree with the way the owners act. Like, I've disagreed with them. I don't like the way they act. I've 100% criticized them. It's just the general attitude the community has had for a while. A good majority of it is reasonable concern or reasonable anger, and they keep it to a minimum, but there's just that 1% demotivating the entire team and just doing horrible things. Now look, I'll get to my criticism of the team in a second, right? I'm not exactly like the #1 glazer of the Forsaken team. I have multiple videos planned where I'll break down the direction of the game, what I don't like about it. But instead of people like respectfully criticizing the game, people always resort to personal insults. And quite bluntly, that makes some developers just shut down and stop listening to criticism because of the 1% that like act rude. Like, for example, let's say a bunch of people are complaining about a specific like mechanic in the game not functioning properly. Let's say guest's block randomly breaks one day, and everyone's saying guest block can't break, here's why that's important, could you fix this immediately? Then Forsaken delays an update, delays. Of course, the fanbase is rightfully upset, right? But instead of everyone criticizing the game correctly and finally like getting them to budge, instead what the community would do is that they just like dox the developer or something and just make them entirely quit. And because of that, guest's block isn't fixed for like 2 more updates. And then we get people in the comments saying, bro, be grateful they actually fixed it. When, you know, because of that one person who decided to dox, we got absolutely nothing for such a major issue. And I think that's a pattern that goes on with a lot of like games similar to Forsaken. There's just something incredibly rabid about this community that just makes everything come super slowly and demotivates the devs. Like, no, I'm not gonna give the devs a pass for when they be lazy, or when they release skins unfinished, or when they release stuff buggy, but I can understand it. I'm not excusing it, but there's a difference between excusing and understanding. I can understand why they wouldn't put in as much effort, because they'll feel like, well, the community won't be grateful anyways, I'm not gonna put in work. Obviously, for a game as big as Forsaken, that's not an excuse, and that should not be encouraged at all as an attitude. But at the same time, we need to think as a community and maybe work to being more positive. And honestly, with the current situation, I don't have high hopes that the community is going to get any more positive. And that brings me to my next point. The 25% elephant in the room. Look, I was thinking whether I should cover this or not, but I generally just wanted to give my thoughts on the entire state of Forsaken currently, so I might as well. They basically ended up giving Soul 25% of the game's revenue, like ever since I think May or something, when the game was sold off. And what's wrong with that is a lot of people were basically financially supporting the game, and they had absolutely no idea, because we were lied to. Like, quite bluntly, I will just be blunt, we were lied to. Hytoko told us that Soul had zero involvement with the game. Soul is gone now. The guy, like, who they sold the game off to was gone now. And sure, they said things about, oh, there's an NDA, but NDAs don't make you lie. Could have just said nothing. Sure, the community would have been mad anyways, but I guarantee you it would have been nowhere near the pure level of anger that I'm seeing from the community right now. Me personally, I'm gonna just be honest here, I'm genuinely annoyed about that. I spent 20k Robux. Most of it was for content, yeah, when I bought Malice for like joke pots in my videos. But I spent over 20k Robux on this game because I wanted to support the developers, because a lot of the developers are my friends. I wanted to support the game because I wanted to see it grow. And I find out that 25% of what I gave this game basically went to like a Nazi groomer. That is something that I think I'm never going to be able to look at this game the same way ever again. Because what's stopping them from lying again? They had no obligation to lie in the first place. They could have said nothing. And that's what makes me lose faith in the game. Because sure, they could kick out Soul right now, and they could tell us right now, yeah guys, Soul is gone, we just sued them. And sure, I'd be happy for a bit. I'd be like, oh, finally, I can enjoy Forsaken without feeling like there's something morally bankrupt about me. But I feel like in a matter of months, we'll find out something that's even worse, that's just gonna bring us back here. Because every single time we feel like the game's about to go to a peak, like we were almost gonna get Watchers back, the I Have a Face collab got like shown off, a big update was in the works, like we were in like the biggest hype we've had for an update since like the Nodi update, and nobody really cared about Guest 666 update until recently, and now all the hype is just gone because of what they've done. And instead of like addressing the issue on their Discord or anywhere outside of Twitter, or apologizing for lying, instead they just posted an update. And let me be blunt, it's literally just an update made for taking your money. It just adds more stuff to the VIP Game Pass. It just makes like the stuff you buy with Robux more worth it. Like, that would have been wonderful to have when I bought stuff with Robux, and it would have been wonderful to know that I was supporting Soul in the first place. Like, there's zero apology like to people who spent money on the game without knowing. There's zero clarification. There's like no explanations, and that's what makes me upset. It kind of feels like they think we're stupid and that we're just gonna sit there and forget. But I genuinely think for once the Forsaken community isn't gonna forget. Sure, I'm looking at Twitter. People on Twitter are already forgetting, but the YouTube community definitely isn't, and I think that's a good thing. Make your voices heard. I don't think they should really be getting away with the fact that Soul got 25% of the money. And sure, I would 100% understand that it was either that or every single developer loses their jobs. But I'll be honest, if you were just honest with us in the first place and just told us, hey, Soul is making money off this game, hey, maybe be careful about what you spend, or just try to find literally any other solution, we would have been fine. At the very least, you could have stayed quiet if that would have broken your NDA. You shouldn't have told us Soul wasn't off the game, so that if we found out later on that the money we spent was from Soul, then we wouldn't have been as angry, because I just feel cheated, because I was like buying that like Robux with like a smile on my face. One time I was in a call with one of my developer friends and I just spent a bunch of Robux because I was like, oh well, I want to help Forsaken a lot. I like this game. Sure, I criticize it a lot on my channel, but I like this game. And then I find out it goes to Soul out of all people like weeks later, and right now I'm just sitting here feeling like an absolute dunce. Like, if you talk to me outside of YouTube, you'd know Forsaken is like my main game, my main fixation. Like, genuinely, I'd play Forsaken over all the other games I'd have on my computer or on my Xbox. Sure, that sounds dumb to a lot of you, but there was just something so charming about Forsaken when it first came out. And even now, there's still a lot of soul in Forsaken, not the Driven Love one, the human heart. There was just a lot of human hearts in Forsaken. And I think that was slowly being eroded over time as they made more and more corporate decisions. And now they've just made like their most corporate decision ever. And it was literally a legal and ethical like dilemma. Do I directly support Soul by continuing to let myself and the team work on the game, or do I just let Soul get the game but they'd make even more money? Now I think the difference is that they directly contribute to Soul's 25%, but at the same time they still make money. Sure, Soul will probably make less money overall. They could take Forsaken's popularity and basically put it in not Forsaken. Like, in my opinion, they should just start another asymmetrical horror game concept and just pour everything they can over without like legal issues. Like, just pour everything they legally can over and just let Forsaken rot over time. That way Soul eventually makes less money over time or something, and we'd still be able to get the game we know and love, and we'd be able to support it in good faith. The entire issue now is that Haitoko's essentially broken the trust within the community. I'm sure the trust has been broken a few times, but they've always gotten it back. They did quality of life changes, quality like updates, or they communicate with us, or they take interviews. But I genuinely cannot see a way they can recover from this other than removing Soul from the team. Now, as for me personally, I know you guys watch my channel for Forsaken. I started my channel off Undertale and then I moved on to Forsaken because I really did love Forsaken and I wanted to post about it. And I'm genuinely wondering what I should do with my channel, considering that like my main profile picture is Chance. My favorite like Roblox character in general is Chance. Like, he's like my son at this point. And the sad thing is, I'm not sure what I can do. Like, sure I could switch games, but I don't think it ever hit the same as Forsaken. Obviously, I'm probably going to switch games until this issue is resolved. Like, I see Die of Death, Outcome, Memories, and Fighting. Like, I have other games I can go to, but of course, it's not gonna bang like my other videos, but it's something I'm used to. What my plan is that I have around 3 uploads left in my backlog. That I'm gonna finish those videos. I'm gonna upload them, and past those videos I'm going to do less on Forsaken. I don't know if I'm gonna be entirely able to quit it, considering how many of my friends play it, how much I play it, but I'm definitely not gonna monetarily support the game anymore. And I don't think anybody who still buys stuff in the game or still plays the game is a bad person. Because at the end of the day, 75% of the money is going to the team. Sure, the way it's being split up is odd, but I at least trust that Haitoko can split that correctly. So overall, in conclusion, I guess I'm gonna finish my last few Forsaken videos because I've worked really hard on them and I'm still very proud of them. But I won't be monetarily supporting the game anymore, and I don't think I'll be playing it anymore, at least for the time being. I'm really fond of Forsaken, like I've said, but I just cannot support it in its current state. I'm probably gonna take a break from it for a while, wait until they sort this out. I'm sure they'll figure something out, because like, I'm pretty sure something came up about frustration of purpose that they can like sue Soul for if they find out Soul did something, because apparently Soul was behind the burner account that sold out the 25% in the first place, but it isn't 100% guaranteed. So if they're able to get rid of Soul, I will come back, but until then I'll just be finishing up my last few videos and making content on other games. Yeah, that's all my thoughts in the video. So if you found this interesting or enlightening, or just drop a sub. I'm sorry for this video not being scripted. I am on my week YouTube break, so there isn't any editing or anything. It's just me speaking around mic. All right, bye bye, have a good day.